Broward County's early history dates back to the Tequista tribe around 2,000 years ago, then later followed by Bahamians in the 18th century. European settlers would later arrive, leading to the decline of the Tequista tribe due to disease and slaughter. Land would remain quite empty throughout Broward County until the 19th century, bringing in many new settlers to the county due to agricultural farming and fishing. In the early 20th century, Black communities were quite self-sufficient, building new roads, homes, churches, and schools in their sections. Dania Beach, Broward's first city, is also home to Broward's first incorporated Black community, to what we know as Dania. In 1908, 9 children enrolled in school. The school at the time was known as the Dania-Liberia School for Coloreds, built by Isidore Mizell. The school was located on 2nd Street and 4th Avenue in a Baptist church, later known as St. Ruth Baptist Church. In 1910, the new school was moved to Dania Beach Boulevard under the leadership of Miss Harmer. The following year, the school returned back to the church under the leadership of Agatha Miller and Mr. Martin. In 1914, a new school was built by Joseph Sidney and Isidore Mizell on what is now 22nd Avenue / J.A. Ely Boulevard. In 1920, Broward County purchased the property and expanded the size of the school. Joaquin Lincoln Brown, a Morehouse alumni, named the new school Crispus Attucks, a Black man who was the first person killed during the Boston Massacre in 1770, an event that ignited the American Revolution, which led to this country's freedom. Professor Lincoln Brown served as principal at Attucks until 1930, when he was succeeded by Professor Joseph Algernon Ely. Professor Ely served as principal until the 1962-1963 school year. He was succeeded by Arthur E. Williams, a former assistant principal at Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale. Attucks' final year as a high school was 1968 due to the integration mandate via Brown v. Board of Education. The impact of the closing of Attucks impacted many future generations. Early integration in Broward wasn't an easy shift. It was a lot more complex and nuanced. We hear from the early graduates of Broward's early integration years. This is the story of the Eagle's Nest.
I was a senior. We were the last graduating class. Attucks, my class is. And we heard about the school possibly phasing out from a high school probably the same year that we were due to graduate, about 5 months before graduation. And I'm talking 1968.
We heard in 1966 because we were the first class to leave. As ninth graders, we graduated in 66 or left Attucks in 66 and began to matriculate at what was called Dania-Stirling, located at the Army Barracks. We were the first graduating class from what became and is now Hollywood Hills High School. So from 66 to 67 was our 10th grade year, 67, 68 was our junior year, and 68, 69 was our senior year. So I'm from the class of 69, the first graduating class from Hollywood Hills High School.
When we first got to the barracks, we left Attucks, which, we thought Attucks was all, top of the line. And then when you get to the barracks and you know what a barracks looks like, the bathrooms were horrible. We had to walk in the rain to go to the next class. And when we went to the bathroom, we also had to team up to go to the bathroom or we would get beat up if we were in there by ourselves. So other than race, I don't think you can take race out of it, because the problem was they weren't used to us and we weren't used to them. So race was the main factor in our problem at Hollywood Hills.
I know that it was a feeling, and it was not a good feeling, you know, just everywhere, the hallways, the classrooms, even in the restroom. It was not a good feeling for me.
They didn't want us there. We didn't want to be there. But I think as time went on, as life has gone on, you figure out that we intermingled, so we got to know them and they got to know us. Because there were some crazy things that they thought about us. I remember that even at Olsen, kid was watching me in the showers, and I thought he was on the other side of that fence. So I said, "Hey man, what's the problem?" He said he couldn't believe it that his mom had told him that black people's hair doesn't get wet. So, and that another thing there was that was the first place that someone ever called me a nigger to my face. It was remedied by the principal. He gave the guy 10 days, and I politely told him, I say, that's fine and well, but if he does that again, you can fire your whole janitorial service, because I'm going to clean this school up with him.
The problem seemed to stem first from a football game, which we played on Friday night. We had many youths at the game that were not students at Hollywood Hills High School, and some incidents arose and created ill will, and this ill will carried over to school on Monday of this week. The parents are concerned. I think that perhaps even some of the parents realize that they're going to have to indoctrinate, if that's a good word, their children with perhaps some different attitudes and different values.
Last Friday, an incident occurred between a white and a black student, and the incident originally was innocent enough, but it involved others jumping into it, and this started rumors flying, which one thing led to another. Yesterday, the situation was somewhat tense. Now, when I'm talking really now in terms of 20 people, and we're a school of 2,000, so you can see what group we're dealing with.
What action has been taken on these 20?
Every one of those 20 have been sent home.
The 4th grade, my mom we moved to Liberia. It was called Liberia then, And we lived right there in College Apartment. I went to Bethune Elementary School. And of course, Attucks is right there next door.
You did not go to Attucks because of the integration that happened. But you have kinfolks that went to Attucks.
Oh yeah, my connection to Attucks was, first of all my aunts and uncles older than me went to Attucks.
So what was the contrast that you were seeing now that you're in an integrated school?
Okay, let me be nice.
Okay.
Well, first of all, when you're all tuned up, we just know we're going to Attucks. Then, boom! No, you're not going to Attucks. You're going to Miramar High School. And to top it off, they had not finished building the school, the building itself for Miramar High School. So our class, which 1969 was my last year at Lanier Junior High School. So for 1970, we had to go to MacArthur High School campus on a double shift. So we were still considered Miramar, but we were just using the property at MacArthur High. And all of that changed. It was just overwhelming. To me, it was very overwhelming. And I very rarely talk about it because I get emotional. And my experience, I think maybe because I was quiet and they didn't really bother me, but talking to some of my other friends and the guys in my class, they said they had to fight every day. It was a hassle. They didn't want us there, and we didn't want to be there. So you can imagine the tension there was, between the teachers and then the students, and the students with the students. It just, nobody was prepared. I guess they were not prepared either. That transition was very turbulent.
I'm Margaret Blake Roach, and I came to Attucks in 1963. I came here with Mr. Arthur Williams, principal, and I came here from Blake High School, Howard W. Blake High School in Tampa, where I served as an assistant principal. I have had some wonderful years here at Attucks, and most certainly in Broward County. Mr. Williams and I provided the leadership here in Attucks High School with one of the best faculties we've ever had. We worked with accreditation. We found a good foundation laid by Mr. J.A. Healy. We found a good community of parents, of students, and of resources.
How you doing today, sir? I'm doing just fine. Yeah? Everything all right? Everything is going well. All right. I'm pleased with the turnout. Yes. Everybody's happy. Yeah. All good. Yeah, all good.
Greetings from the class of 1965. Martha Yerby Smith. Having a wonderful time. Enjoy yourself.
Class 68, that was the class.
66, 65 was all right, but 66 was the better.
Oh, the class of 1960.
What? It's been that long, she has forgotten.
We were the greatest. We were the greatest.
One of the best.
Based upon the efforts of time, and I believe that this is divine time, that they chose the class of 1966 30th anniversary to bring about the full all reunion of all the Attucks Eagles. So therefore, it's not debatable as to which class was the greatest or is the greatest. The class of 1960 has and always will be the greatest class of Attucks High School. This is Joseph Smith, your roving reporter, 30 years later at the T.Y. Park Reunion Picnic reporting. Have a good day.
Emily Neely Davis, the class of 66.
Ida Scott, class of 67.
And Sharon Neely, class 67.
My name is Allie Mobley. I'm a member of the last graduating class of Attucks, class of 1968. We would like to congratulate the all-class reunion for a very fine job. We've had a great time, and it was nice to see such a great turnout. And class of 68, I'm real proud of you for attending.
There's a lot of people here, and it's something that the community needed for such a long time. Have with Mr. Anthony Ash, who worked very hard, who came in on the meetings and just took the ball and started to roll with it, and it's been great. I just really enjoyed the whole atmosphere here.
So a good time has been had by all, and we hope that you're enjoying it as much as we are. See ya!
All the girls were cheering when we left school, and the girl was cheering. Man, you hit that shot from the corner. Somebody live here, you may have a business over here, a store over here, like Raymond Mulder and the beautician and stuff like that. Yeah. The people that lived in the community and they cared about the community.
Yeah, it's important. It's important.
I got there and a whole lot of things started happening because we had some people, the predecessors, that came along and said, this is what you need to do. Something as simple as every morning we would meet in the library and go through that big dictionary. Turn pages, point out a word, learn how to spell it, use it in a sentence. That kind of stuff let me know that, okay, these are the people that really concern themselves about me. Like I said, there were some white Americans, teachers that were there that still had that some kind of reality.
Whatever was thrown at me, I did my best. And it was just helpful when I was at Attucks. I felt more comfortable going to the teachers asking for help with difficult things, because once I got to Hills, I got thrown in a few classes that were very challenging, and I didn't feel comfortable going to the teachers and asking. So I struggled a little, especially with geometry. And Mr. Gullah tried, to help me a little bit, but I still wasn't getting it. So overall, I can't say that my experiences at Attucks or Hills made me want to succeed more. It was more family.
The parents at Attucks all wanted their children to succeed and be better than they were. Going to Hollywood Hills was a struggle, so that means that you had to study a little harder. Then I'm not saying that you didn't have to study at Attucks, you studied here, but it just seemed like when you got to Hollywood Hills that you really had to put your nose. I know my parents bought the encyclopedia, which I know the kids of today don't know nothing about the encyclopedia, but my parents bought the encyclopedia, and everybody in the neighborhood came by to get this one leather and to look in the book and like that. So Hollywood Hills, it did make you work harder because you didn't want those bad grades. You didn't want to take those grades home to your parents. And I said what I said before, that a lot of times those teachers would not give you the grades that you deserve.
Because it was very competitive. Whites, even today, think that they are better than blacks, more intelligent, etc. And so we were in an environment where that was actually said to some of us, or the teachers, some of them, not all of them, challenged us more. When I say us, I mean the blacks. And so I became determined that I was going to show them, the students, the white teachers, and the white students, that I was just as smart as they were. So it propelled me to work harder. And I maintained the honor roll and, got good grades and was involved in activities and so forth. So it made me more determined.
We got a lot of our structure from home. We did not depend on it because you had parents who had expectations of you and certain things you were required to do. And the grades was one of them. You had to bring my parents did not play them C's and D's, and as a parent, I didn't play the C's and D's. You had to get A's and B's. There was an expectation. You didn't depend on your teacher to help you get to that point. But we had some excellent teachers in the school at Attucks that was motivated, and they cared about the students. So they worked hard at making sure you got it. We had guidance counselors and we had deans. I never will forget Miss Dallas Payne. She was responsible for a lot of children getting into college, with me being one of them. And it was great. I went to a school in the Carolinas because I wanted to go back to Carolina because that's my home. I wanted to go back to school up in the Carolinas near there. And then I ended up getting degrees from schools that were predominantly white. I never went to HBCU. I went to schools they didn't look like me, as you say. A lot of people did not look like me, but that helped to motivate me because they were to the posture that black people didn't know nothing and that we were stupid and we were dumb and we were hard to train. So that was a motivator because the more people put you down, the more determined you become to rise above that.
We prayed together, but we knew that through prayer and faith in God, we would achieve our goals in life. Thus, we have come together to reminisce the good times and the bad times, but more importantly, to establish the Alumni Association of Attucks High School.
But now, God, as we go, we ask that you lead and guide us. Those that have come from afar, that you will lead them home safely, that they will return and speak of how they have had such a blessed time. And let others be confounded and amazed as they went back to their residential places and tell them of how we met the Lord on this mountain when we came back to our nest. And now as we leave this place, let everybody that love God say amen. Amen.
A dozen private school students took up the challenge to see life in a public school firsthand. They found a lot to like about Attucks Middle School, its new computer course, for instance.
I want to come here. Why? It just looks good. It's different, and the classes are bigger, and they teach in a different style than in our school.
First-year principal Marge Hall says her 730-member student body is the best marketing tool she has, and she aims to use it.
The students who are here are satisfied customers. They're the ones that can say best, this is a great school.
Why would you want her to come to school with you?
Because she's like a close friend of mine, and she wanted to come here, and so I thought it would be nice for her to come and have an experience here.
This middle school facility is really the old Attucks High School, built back in the 1950s, so it has features that few other middle schools in Broward County have, like this swimming pool and a more than adequate gym and auditorium. But for a long time, the name Attucks carried with it a negative connotation.
Once I got here and saw the kind of student body that we have, the academic achievement of the students, it just really made me feel great. I just got real lucky.
Some of the things you can't help, like, fighting or, some little bickering on the halls or anything like that. But I think it's really over-exaggerated.
In student population, Attucks is the smallest of Broward's 37 middle schools. Hall doesn't want an overflowing situation at Attucks, but she does want middle schools in general to get a fair shake. Attucks probably came pretty close today. In Hollywood, Vicki Frazier, Channel 10 Eyewitness News.
I hope that whatever happens to Attucks, that in the end, they give this area, this high school back. Not a middle school, but 6 through 12, whatever, okay? 9 through 12, or like Dillard is 6 through 12. And there are other schools, Millennium is like that. Because students who go to school here, middle school, what high schools they go to? They got to go to South Broward or Hollywood Hills, out of their area. This is, neighborhood schools, there was a reason for neighborhood schools. And so whites were not the only ones who were disappointed that they had to leave their neighborhood to go and integrate with other races. And so black people did most of the integrating. We were the ones who were taken mostly out of our neighborhood and bused to their neighborhoods. And so I would say that overall, what happened to us negatively affected the community, but me as a whole, and I think I know a lot of my classmates also feel the same way, that in the end, we learned very early that people are the same. The only difference is the environment.
I guess it's up to families and churches to really support our black children and help them feel the stuff that we used to feel, but it takes work, and it starts with your own kids, and then you go and bless somebody else. So I feel we just have to continue to do what we can, one child at a time.
Attucks had already instilled in me this drive to do good, and I hope that we can continue to talk to our kids. My kids, I told them, I said, you can't play. I said, you go to school. My daughters went to Attucks and South Plantation. But I am grateful that I had this experience. I'm praying that a lot more get this experience because we had people here seeing about us. I mean, seeing about her. Cheryl didn't say, but her mom was a teacher.
To be bused to Attucks, they felt like you felt going to Hollywood Hills. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be there. They wanted to stay at Lanier because they had been promised that Lanier was going to become a high school. So they ended up coming over here. Me, I was glad to come because I had already been here before. I'd been here first grade all the way up to my parents moved in seventh grade, and then I am going to Allendale. I felt displaced because I was looking forward to still staying at Attucks, which we ended up coming back because that was the choice. But anyone who did not want to come to Attucks, they had the opportunity to go to Hollywood Hills, MacArthur, or they went to South Broward. A lot of the athletes who went to the pros ended up going to Dillon. They went to Dillon. They graduated out of Dillon or South Broward. But our neighborhoods don't look like us anymore. That's part of the problem. So until you can get them to get on board with what it is we want, that's going to always be a problem.
We have to, as a people, come together and stop the division. And we also, as Shirley said, that it's not only that we need the whites to help us too, because they don't want some of their schools closed. Some of them still want to come to Attucks too.
And some don't.
Some don't. Of course, some don't. But they have a great curriculum here. So that's my thought. Let us keep this school open.